Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare.
Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Juta Padakamalam Sri Guru Vaishnavanscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunatanitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sagana Lalita Sri Visakhanitam Hare Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna. All glories to Śrīla Prabhupāda, and welcome to the Sunday morning Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam reading and discussion with the use of the Delhi Bhagavatams, which we are now distributing quite proudly to the world as part of our devotional service. So I encourage everyone to, of course, get your set, and we're trying to get some sets over here in Canada. It's quite expensive, Mother Ruchisha. It's $176 just for one box of 6 sets. So it's about $20, $30, $40 per set by shipping. So we're doing that, but at any rate, despite all the difficulty, we're gradually disseminating the Bhagavatam as part of our mission to present Krishna consciousness in such a way that it's authorized by the bona fide spiritual master. It's very important that you have a bona fide source for your information and knowledge. Otherwise, things change, very much so. And by mental concoction and mental speculation. Hey, Trevor? They can change so that, say, a mission, which was originally called Sanatana Dharma, the eternal religion, has now become Hindu. Yes. In America and Canada, the term is Hinduization. It's kind of a concocted term. Because if you remember, I mean, even the term Hindu, the Muslims used to call the people that were following the Sanatana Dharma system, they called them Hindus because they couldn't pronounce the name properly of the followers that were at the Indus River in India. So this name became popular as Hindu. It's not a name that we are using. We're not Hindus, make that for sure, just like Ritvik. People say, Vishvakarma, Yaśodā, you're Ritviks. Excuse me, I wasn't initiated by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupāda as a Ritvik. I was initiated as his disciple. But these people, this Sri Dayananda, he created this term, Ritvikism. Terrible. Total blasphemy. Of course, these people don't respect their god brothers. In fact, if you make any comment about their bogus philosophy, they get mad. They kick you out. And we've heard all those stories from the past about how they proclaimed, I don't need any of you. I remember it. Bhavananda did that in Vrindavan. I don't need any of you because I've got my own disciples. I don't need my godbrothers and godsisters. I'm on my own. So this type of word jugglery has gone on in the ISKCON group. And same with Hindu. We're not a Hindu movement. Absolutely not. But the contamination has entered into especially the Western-speaking countries, as a Hindu organization. For example, Yaśodā-nandana Prabhu, they promote in their their desire to get money, they promote Hindu weddings at the temples. Now, Yaśodā, let me ask you this question. Did Prabhupada want us to go into the business of doing fire sacrifices for non-devotees? Did he? These people are not devoted to the Sanatana Dharma principles of Vaishnavism. They're not Gaudiya Mat, or they're not Brahma Gaudiya Sampradaya disciples in disciplic succession. No. They're people, they're karmis. And yet, in the temples, they perform fire sacrifices for these people in front of the deities. We had a situation in Toronto, what I got from information from a head pujari, that they the director there, or whatever he is, Bhakti Marg, he referred to the deities as statues. He called them statues. And then he said, open the doors, because they wanted the Hindus, so-called Hindus, to see the deities, not the deities see them, see the deities as part of the decoration for their wedding. And they have chairs set up in the temple room and tables. Hinduization, that's what it's called. Where it's not based on Prabhupada's reasons for running this movement. For example, Prabhupada sent me a letter after we bought the Toronto temple, and he told me, use it as a preaching center for spreading Krishna consciousness in Toronto, an area. Yeah, a preaching center. But now, instead of a preaching center, it's a Hindu center. They celebrate, there's all these Hindu festivals. Back in the day, when I was president of ISKCON Toronto for 10 years, we never, and even pre that presidency, when I was Bhakta Bob and then Vishwakarma Das, etc., we never, ever celebrated Diwali. We kind of knew that it was something, festival of lights, and it's just like this throwing of powder. I hated that when I went to Mayapur for the festival, because the people in that area, that you go out in your brahmachari clothes and they throw powder all over you and you can be all covered in that stuff. It was, did you remember that? It was just madness. I thought, who made this up? So all these Hindu, they're spiritual events, okay, but it's not part of our calendar. There was some kind of festival this week, Vinay brought up to me, over there in Bangalore, at ISKCON Bangalore, they're having some kind of festival that I never heard of before, because we weren't concentrating on that. We were concentrating on Sankirtan work. Was our main function. So we had main festivals like Gaur Purnima, Krishna Janmashtami, like that, Vyas Puja, Prabhupada's Vyas Puja, and other. When you look at the calendar we posted up, there's all kinds of festivals that are in glorification of the sampradaya that we follow, but not Hindu. So you have all these festivals that they've concocted. Not only that, but most of the cooks are not initiated. in the temples. They just hire people to cook. And then they call it prasadam. Who knows how they offer it? They're probably with these bogus gurus that are not authorized. So is it prasadam? No. Just like distribution of prasadam. You know something, Yaśodā-nandana Prabhu? It's very reminiscent of the days when we used to go on Sankirtan, and our Sankirtan leader, who got us in trouble actually at the time, because he would approach people for food donations. Oh, give money for the kids. That's the easiest way to get money for a donation from other people. Did you know that? When you go on Sankirtan, you just say, I'm feeding kids. No. There's even an organization in India, they're celebrated because they claim they're feeding kids prasadam. Not even prasadam, there's all kinds of issues. I'm not going to discuss it because it's not important in a certain sense. But at the same time, this raising of money is based on this idea of feeding kids. It's a money business. Look, they run these events with the Hindus in Toronto, and they get them all to pay for the prasadam. Oh, and this particular feast costs $400. And if you want it this feast, it'll be $800 or $2,000. The Hinduization of ISKCON has destroyed the mission of Śrīla Prabhupāda, most categorically. It's terrible. And these people are Mayavadis. Have you ever talked to them, Yaśodā? They've got I go to their temples, they've got their house temples, they got every kind of deity on the altar. What? It's a simple altar, Panchatattva and disciplic succession. Not all these other deities you worship because you're a Hindu. You're not a Vaishnava. You don't understand Guru Tattva, do you? No, I have no idea. I've been at these houses, they got Sai Sachi Baba there. I'm like, what the heck? This is absolutely unbelievable. So this is what Prabhupada wanted. They're Mayavadis. Do they know the difference between the personal and impersonal philosophy? No. It's just one big soup, one big pot of confusion. So this Hinduization is infiltrated into the whole fabric of the ISKCON movement. And Abhimanyu, who's staying here, my friend, he went to the ISKCON Toronto Rath Yatra. It was 30,000 Hindus. 30,000. It becomes like a celebration. Like Christian churches. You go there, they dress up in their saris and their decorations and they go show off. And the people carry on holding hands and walking around, and it's like a social event. That's what Christianity is. It's a social event. You show up. You look good. And everybody goes, oh, he's a good Christian. He's a good Hindu. So they don't know Shastra. They're not bhaktas. They're not studying the books. They're not chanting their rounds. They're going for weddings at the temples. And they charge a big tab for it, especially if they get to cater it. And it becomes popular. So don't be confused anymore about going to the ISKCON group. Oh, I'm going to go to the temple. I hear that all the time. Well, I'm going to go to the temple. And what are you going to do there? Huh? What are you going to do there except socialize? And of course, get so-called prasadam. Stay at home, worship your deities, offer your food properly, preach to others, and try to give people a chance to get out of the confusion of this material society that we live in, and not be a bridge preacher. That's another contamination. Bridge preaching, where you don't mention Krishna, you don't mention the holy name, you don't mention Śrīla Prabhupāda's name, because you think, oh, if I mention those names, it'll turn people off. That's what their mentality is. They're afraid. Just like Bhakti Marg. Oh, I don't like it when I hear Prabhupada in his book say 4 regulated principles, no illicit sex. I find that distasteful. Excuse me. I wonder why you do that, why you would say something that foolish. I don't know. Well, I do know. The guy doesn't read Prabhupada's books. That's right. People that don't read the books, that don't follow the regulated principles, that don't chant their rounds, they're not serious about spiritual life. They're Hindus. And it's called Hinduization. It's a slang term, but it's still there. We are not Hindus, we're Vaishnavas. We're disciples of A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupāda. So, there's all kinds of these. It's all for money. The kitchen, the people, they get paid. So, that's enough on that. Think about it. Think what the movement has become. And stay away. Don't bother. It's a waste of time. You go there. What's this? The original sin. Yeah, that's it. We're going to go ahead with our very interesting reading of the prayers of Muchukunda. I'm glad I wrote down that page number. I start reading ahead, I get lost. I go, where the heck was that? Let's see. Let's hope I got the. I marked it for preparation here today. Okay, look at that. I made a mistake. Oh, here we are. So we're going to go to Deliverance of Muchukunda. These are, I call them diamonds. They're diamonds that they're like very valuable jewels. And of knowledge, jewels of knowledge. And these prayers by Muchukunda are very illuminating. And they're really, if you think about it, Prabhus, it was Prabhupada that's created the Krishna book and delivered this information. Not in purports, but in a whole explanation of Bhagavatam in the 10th canto. It is therefore very difficult. I'll carry on from yesterday. It is therefore very difficult to get out of the material entanglement, Prabhupada says. But somehow or other, if one is favored by you, by your mercy only, he is given the opportunity to associate with the pure devotee. Now, I read this yesterday, this last paragraph, but it's so relevant even today to hear it again that I wanted to repeat it so that we could all get the idea of how valuable it is to have the association of a bona fide representative of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Gosvāmī Prabhupada. That is the beginning of liberation. That is the beginning point of liberation. from the entanglement of material conditioned life. It's the beginning. My dear Lord, only by the association of pure devotees is one entrapped by your Lordship, who is the controller of both the material and spiritual existences. You are the supreme goal of all pure devotees, and by association with pure devotees, one can develop his dormant love for you. Therefore, development of Krishna consciousness in the association of pure devotees is the cause of liberation from this material entanglement. This is the basis of making advancement in spiritual life, is having the right teacher. My dear Lord, you are so merciful that in spite of being reluctant to associate with your great devotees, we see that people are reluctant. You have shown your extreme mercy upon me as a result of my slight contact with a pure devotee like Gargamuni. By your causeless mercy only, I've lost all my material opulences, my kingdom, and my family. I'm going to interject something. I just sent a video to Yaśodā-nandana Prabhu of him carrying Śrīla Prabhupāda on the palanquin. Did you see that? Did you look at that, Yaśodā-nandana? You haven't seen it yet. It's a video. And they're putting him into an ambassador car. Yaśoda's carrying, I could see it. I could tell it was him. And there's a couple of shots of him personally carrying Śrīla Prabhupada out to the ambassador car. Very ecstatic. So I've sent them to you. Anything I see of his online, I extract it and save it. And I send it over to him because, sometimes we don't remember we were in a particular place and time and people were photographing it. Because we weren't thinking of that. He was just thinking of carrying Śrīla Prabhupada on the palanquin. I do not think that I could have gotten rid of these entanglements without your causeless mercy. Let me go back. Because by your causeless mercy only, I've lost all my material opulences, my kingdom and my family. So it's a mercy. I do not think that I could have gotten rid of all these entanglements without your causeless mercy. Kings and emperors accept the life of austerity to forget the royal condition of life, but by your causeless mercy, I have already been bereft of the royal condition. Other kings exert themselves to get out of the attachment of kingdom and family by accepting the hardships of renunciation. But by your mercy, I do not need to become a mendicant or to practice renunciation. My dear Lord, I therefore pray that I may simply be engaged in rendering transcendental service unto your lotus feet, which is the ambition of the pure devotees who are freed from all kinds of material contamination. So it's filling up the cup with devotional service, not simply renouncing. Oh, I don't have this or I don't have that. No, you have your service. And when you have your service, you don't have time for Maya. You are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and you can offer me anything I want, including liberation. But who is such a foolish person that after pleasing you, he would ask from you something which might be the cause of entanglement in this material world? I do not think that any sane man would ask for such a benediction from you. I therefore surrender unto you because you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead. You are the Super Soul, living in everyone's heart. And you are the impersonal Brahman effulgence. Moreover, you are also this material world, because the material world is only the manifestation of your energy, external energy. Therefore, from any angle of vision, you are the supreme shelter for everyone, although people can't see it. Everyone, either in the material plane or in the spiritual plane, must take shelter under your lotus feet. Everyone does. People don't want to accept that, but time will teach everyone what the reality is. I have therefore submit unto you, my Lord, for many, many births I have been suffering from the threefold miseries of this material existence, and now I am tired of it. It has simply been impelled by my senses, and I was never satisfied. I take shelter of your lotus feet, which are the source of all peaceful conditions of life, and which can eradicate all kinds of lamentation caused by material contamination. My dear Lord, you are the super soul of everyone, and you can understand everything. Now I am free from all contamination of material desire. I do not wish to enjoy this material world, nor do I wish to take advantage of merging into your spiritual effulgence, nor do I wish to meditate upon your localized aspect of Paramatma, for I know that simply by taking shelter of you, I shall become completely peaceful and undisturbed. Tremendous prayer. This is something that we should clearly read and understand and follow in the footsteps of the great devotees, especially our spiritual master, His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupāda, who surrendered everything into the devotional ocean of the Sankirtan movement of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He surrendered everything. And we're going to be reading in the future again, because some of you weren't aware that we have the diaries of Śrīla Prabhupāda, and that's going to become a part of our program. Again, we've read it 3 times, but it's always Yaśodā-nandana Prabhu, it's always ever fresh. And I was speaking to one of our new members who's helping us with our media team, very much so. We're going to be doing some new setup of the program, more refined. So you'll see that coming up. But she goes, oh, I didn't know there was these diaries. And I showed her our diaries. There. Look at this. There they are. We have them. The Jaladuta diary. And it's fantastic. Look at that boat. So people come and go with our group, and hopefully more people will stay, but a lot of people don't have the time. They're busy taking care of their ashram duties. But for those that come, we'll be reading in the near future again the Jaladuta diaries as part of our program. We're going to go forward with Rupa Gosvāmī. He's handling the co-hosting today. And we're going to show a brief lecture by Śrīla Prabhupāda to continue this nectar program. Haribo. Rupa Gosvāmī, roll the next section. Slight delay.
Bhagavate Vasudevaya Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Juta Padakamalam.
Translation. As a person in a dream while sleeping acts according to the body manifested in his dream, or accepts the body as himself. Similarly, he identifies the present body as himself, which was acquired on account of past religious or irreligious life, and is not able to know of his past or future life.
Jathagasthamasa upasti bhaktamiva hi naveda purvam aparam nasta janma smritis tatha. This is our position. This is our advancement of science, that we do not know what I was before this life and what I shall become after this life. Life is continuation. That is spiritual knowledge. They do not know also even that life is continuation. They think, by chance I have got this life and it will be finished after death. There is no question of past, present and future. Let us enjoy. This is called ignorance, tamasa, irresponsible life. So, agga means one who has no knowledge. And who has no knowledge? The tamasa, those who are in the modes of ignorance. There are three kinds of material nature, modes, sattva, raja, tamas. Satagun means everything is clear, prakash, just like now the sky is covered with cloud, the sunshine is not clear. But above the cloud there is sunshine, everything clear. And within the cloud there is not clear. Similarly, those who are in the Shatagun, for them everything is clear. And those who are in the Tamagun, everything is ignorance. And those who are mixed up, neither Rajagun, neither Tamagun, via media, they are called Rajagun, three gunas, tamasa. So they are simply interested in the present body, does not care what is going to happen, and has no knowledge what he was before. There is another place it is described, Nunam pramatta kuruti vikarma. Pramatta is like madman. He does not know why he has become mad, he forgets. And by the activities what is going to happen next, he does not know. Madman. So this civilization, modern civilization, is just like madman civilization. They have no knowledge of past life, neither they are interested in the future life. Nunam pramatta kruti vikarma, and fully engaged in sinful activities, because they have no knowledge of the past life. It's like a dog. Why he has become dog, that he does not know. And what he is going to have next. So, a dog might have been in his past life the Prime Minister. But when he gets the dog's life, he forgets. That is also another influence of Maya. Prakhyapatmika Shakti, Avaranatmika Shakti. Maya has got two potencies. If somebody, for his past sinful activities, has become a dog, and if he remembers that I was Prime Minister, now I have become dog, it will be impossible for him to live Therefore, Maya covers his knowledge. Mrittu means forgetting everything. That is called mrittu. So, that we have got experience every day and night. When at night we dream in a separate atmosphere, separate life, we forget about this body. That I am lying down, my body is lying down in a very nice apartment, nice bedding. No. Suppose he is loitering on the street or he is on the hill. So he is taking, in dream, he is taking, everyone will take interest of that body. He forget the past body. So this is ignorance. See, ignorance, the more we become elevated from ignorance to knowledge, that is success of life. And if we keep ourselves in ignorance, that is no success. That is spoiling the life. So our Krishna Consciousness movement is to raise a person from ignorance to knowledge. That is the whole scheme of Vedic literature, to deliver a person. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita about the devotees, not for all. Tisangaham samuddhatya mittu samsara sagara. Rather, tisamivanukam partham aham ajnana jagatama nashayami atma bhavastha jnana dīpena bhāsata. For special, for the devotees, he is situated in everyone's heart, but a devotee is trying to understand Krishna, he helps. He helps. To the non-devotees, they have no concern with it. They are just like animal, eating, sleeping, sex life and defense. They do not care for anything. To understand God, his relationship with God. For them, they think there is no God, and Krishna also says, yes, there is no God, you sleep. Therefore satsanga required. This satsanga, satang prasangat, by the association of devotee, we awaken our inquisitiveness about God. Therefore, the centers are required. It is not unnecessarily we are opening so many centers. No, it is for the benefit of the human society.
Prabhupada describes the people as madmen. They have no knowledge of past, present, and future. They think that the purpose of life is sense gratification. They're mad. It's life like a dog, he says, forgetting everything. We are in a dream state, spoiling the human form of life. So, very profound, succinct understanding of our philosophy. And we're going to move forward with the next section of our program, which is the reading and discussion, headed up by our godbrother, His Grace Yaśodā-nandana Prabhu. First we'll have the bhajan, Jaya Radha Madhava. So everybody chant along, and then we'll carry on with the reading. Hare Krishna.
Sai.
Jaya Radha Madhava Punya Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Yasoda-nandana Braja Jana Nandana. Yasoda-nandana Braja Jana Nandana. Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupāda ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda ki jai. Namacharya Śrīla Haridas Thakur ki jai. Prem se kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaur Bhaktivedanta ki jai. Sri Radha Krishna Go Gopinath Sam Kund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan ki jai. Vrindavan Dham ki jai. Navadvip Dham ki jai. Swami Bhaktivedanta ki jai. Ganga Mai ki jai. Jamuna Mai ki jai. Tulasi Devi ki jai. Bhakti Devi ki jai. Swami Bhaktivedanta ki jai. All glories to the assembled Lord. All glories to the assembled Lord. Thank you very much.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. O my Lord, Sri Krishna, the son of Vasudeva, the all-pervading personality of Godhead, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. From Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam 1:1:1. Narayanam namaskritya. Narayanam namaskritya. Naram chaiva narottamam. Naram chaiva narottamam. Devim saraswatim vyasam. Devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam mudirayat. Tato jayam mudirayat. One should utter the means of conquest, Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, after offering respectful obeisances, 1, to the personality of Godhead Narayana, 2, to the Narayana Rishi, who is the supermost human being, 3, to the Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, then 4, to Śrīla Vyasadeva, the author, from Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam 1-4. Welcome, everyone, to this reading and discussion in our new format of presentation. We appreciate your participation and your patience while we restructure the program to include more clips from His Divine Grace Śrīla Prabhupāda, lectures, chanting, and everything else. This particular reading is from the original 1962 New Delhi edition of the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, and all purports, synonyms, and translations are from His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupāda, Founder-Ācārya of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, also known as the Krishna Consciousness Movement. As we do every week, we will be reading a few selected verses from the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam itself, from the first canto, second chapter, explaining the meaning and the benefit of hearing this powerful transcendental literature. Yadanudyasina yukta karma grantini bandhanam chindanti kovidastasya kona kuryat kataratim. Intelligent persons do cut off the internet of the knot of reactionary work by remembrance of the personality of Godhead. Therefore, who will not give attention to His message? Shushrushoho sradadhanasya vasudeva kataruchihi syan mahat sevaya vipraha punyatirtha nishevanat. Oh, the twice-born sages, by serving those devotees, were completely freed from all ranges of vice. A standard of great service is done. And as the result of such great service, affinity in the messages of Vasudeva is made possible. Srinvatam svakata Krishna punyashravana kirtanaha ridyantasto yabadrani vidunoti suritsatam. Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, who is also the Paramatma in everyone's heart, and the benefactor of the truthful devotee, thus cleanse the desire for material enjoyment in the heart of the devotee, who has developed the urge for hearing his Krishna's messages, which are themselves virtuous when properly heard and chanted. Nashta prayesha bhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavatyuttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naistiki. By regular attendance in the Bhagavatam class or rendering service unto the pure devotees, all that is inauspicious in the heart of a candidate becomes destroyed almost to nil, and thus loving service unto the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, comes into being an irrevocable fact. tadarajastamo bhava kamalo bhadayaschaye chetayetera viddam stitam sattve prasidati. As soon as irrevocable loving service is fixed up in one's heart, at that time the effects of the nature's mode of passion and ignorance, such as lust, desire, and hankerings, etc., do disappear from one's heart, and he becomes fixed up in a mode of goodness which makes him completely happy. Evam prasanna manaso bhagavad bhakti yogataha bhagavat tattva vijnanam mukta sangasya jayate. Thus, when one is positively fixed up in a mode of unalloyed goodness, the enlivened-minded man affected by contact of devotional service of the Lord can positively know scientific knowledge of the personality of Godhead in the stage of liberation from all material association. Vidyate hridaya grantis chidyante sarva samshaya kshiyante chasya karmani drishta evatmanishvare. The knot of one's heart is thus pierced, and all misgivings are cut into pieces. The chain of fruitive actions are terminated along with the seeing of oneself, the dominating factor. We will proceed with our specific verse for today. We are reading from Canto 1, Chapter 7, text number 12. Parīkṣita tu rajarshi janma karma vilapanam samastam chapandu putranam bhakti Krishna katodayam. Parīkṣitu, of the king Parīkṣit, ato, thus, Raja Rishi, of king who was the rishi amongst the kings, karma, activities, vilapanam, deliverance, samstam, renunciation of the world, bhakshe, just I shall speak, Krishna katodayam, what gives rise to the transcendental narration of Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, translation by His Divine Grace, Śrīla Prabhupāda. Sūta Gosvāmī thus addressed the rishis headed by Sonaka and said, now I shall begin the transcendental narration of the Lord Sri Krishna in connection with the topics of the birth, activities, and deliverance of King Parīkṣit, the sage amongst the kings, as well as in connection with the renouncement of the sons of Pandu in the worldly order. Purport by Śrīla Prabhupāda. Lord Krishna is so kind upon the fallen souls that he personally incarnates himself amongst the different kinds of the living entities and takes part with them in the matter of daily activities of the materialistic beings. Any historical fact, old or new, which has connection with the activities of the Lord is to be understood as transcendental narration of the Lord. Without Krishna, all these supplementary literatures like the Puranas and Mahabharata are simply stories or historical facts. But with Krishna, the whole thing becomes transcendental. And when we hear of them, at once transcendently related with the Lord. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam is also a Puranam like that, but the special significance of this Puranam is that the activities of the Lord are on the limelight instead of the historical facts. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam is thus recommended by Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as the spotless Puranam. There is a class of less intelligent devotees of the Bhagavat Puranam who desire to relish at once the activities of the Lord narrated in the 10th canto without any understanding of the primary cantos. They are under false impression that other cantos are not connected with Krishna, and thus more foolishly than intelligently take to the readings of the 10th canto. These less intelligent class of Bhagavatam readers are specifically lessened herewith that other cantos of the Bhagavatam are as much important as the 10th canto, or on the other hand, nobody should try to go into the matters of the 10th canto without having thoroughly understood the purport of the other 9 cantos. Krishna and his pure devotees, like the Pandavas, are all on the same plane. Krishna is not without his devotees of all the rasas or mellow, and the pure devotees, like the Pandavas or others, are not without Krishna. The devotees and the Lord are interlinked, and they cannot be separated, and therefore talks about them are all Krishna Katha, or topics of the Lord. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmiritam Yena Tasmai Shigurave Namah Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Śrīmate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Bhakti Siddhanta Shishyaya Bhaktivedanta Namine Prasannaya Prashantaya Tasmai Shigurave Namaham Bhagavad Vandanam Kadyam Guru Vandana Purvakam Kshiram Sharkara Yuktam Kadatehi Visheshataham Adadana-strinam danteridam yache punah punah Śrīmad padam bhoja dhulisyam janma janmani amsho bhagavatosmyaham sadadaso asmi sarvata tat kripa pikshako nityam tat prishta sat karomismam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. There are some very important points being raised in this purport of Śrīla Prabhupāda. Now, we do know that the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam was spoken by Shukadev Gosvāmī to Maharaj Parīkṣit, and it was subsequently spoken by Sūta Gosvāmī to Sonaka Gosvāmī, or Sonaka Rishi, and his 60,000 sages at Naimisharanya. So the topic of this particular verse here is that Sūta Gosvāmī is telling the rishis that he is going to speak about the activities of Maharaj Parīkṣit and Lord Sri Krishna, as well as the topic of the renunciation by the Pandavas. Now, this is a very large topic. Yesterday, I sent to some of you an email with different quotations from Śrīla Prabhupada explaining the position and the birth of Maharaj Parīkṣit, how Maharaj Parīkṣit was especially protected by Lord Krishna when he was attacked in the womb of his mother. Aswatthama, the son of Dronacharya, wanted to kill the surviving child of the Pandavas, but Krishna personally entered the room of Uttara and protected him. Now, we know in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna explains that he protects his devotees. Very important. Aranyashchintayanto mam ye janaha paryupasate tesham nitya biyuktanam yoga kshemam vahamyaham. For those who are devoted to Krishna, Krishna gives them special protection. Now, this is a very important point because sometimes devotees will ask, well, why did this happen? Why did that happen? Why did Krishna allow this to happen? Why did Krishna allow that to happen? Well, we have to hear. If we submissively hear the explanation of Śrīla Prabhupada in his transcendental divine purports, then everything becomes revealed, everything becomes clear. In this case, in the case of the birth of Maharaj Parīkṣit, Ashwatthama released the Brahmastra weapon. Now, we do know from Prabhupada's writings that this particular weapon is like an atomic bomb, but it goes specifically to individual persons and individual circumstances. The modern day atomic bombs kill without discrimination, the guilty, the innocent, everybody. But the Brahmastra weapon is very specific. It is done by mantra. So that mantra, that weapon, that Brahma Astra that was released by Ashwatthama to kill Maharaj Parīkṣit, who was in the womb of his mother, and Krishna entered the womb and protected him. Sadavo hridayam mahyam sadunam hridayam tvaham madanyatina jananti naham tebhyo managapi. In the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, in the 9th canto, there's a nice explanation that Krishna explains that I'm in the heart of the sadhus, and the sadhus are always in my heart. I always think of them, they always think of me. Now we know from Bhagavad Gita, Krishna promised that if you surrender to me, I will protect you. Very famous verse. In the Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya, they considered this particular verse from the 18th chapter called the Charama Sloka, the most important verse. Basically, that is instructing us to surrender to Krishna. Now, somebody may say, well, what's the benefit of surrendering to Krishna? Krishna says, Aham tvam sarva papebhyo moksha yishyami matsuchaha. That you surrender everything to me, I will protect you. Don't worry about the sinful reactions. Of course, this should not be interpreted that somebody can keep going on doing bad activities or sinful activities and thinking, oh, Krishna will protect me, I'll be forgiven. No, this is not the proper understanding. The proper understanding is that Krishna is willing to forgive past transgressions, past vikarmic activities. And simply what we have to do is engage in his service. The first service is to hear. Krishna explains, Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam pritipurvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yenamam upayantite. How does this work? That first to surrender, Krishna will protect. But Krishna will give the intelligence. Dadami. Krishna says, I will give him the intelligence. Dadami buddhi yogam tam. This buddhi yoga means the intelligence of how to prosecute devotional service. Now, you heard in the first part of this program, Vishwakarma Prabhu was explaining how there has been a lot of Hinduization of Śrīla Prabhupada's society. For what purpose? Money-making. When it's convenient, all the basic fundamental principles that were taught to Prabhupada are compromised for money-making. And you know, this has been done on many levels. The example of marriage ceremonies. Interestingly, in Bombay, they had made a separate hall when they constructed the temple, and they asked Śrīla Prabhupada whether or not they could do marriage ceremonies to raise funds for the temple. Prabhupada said yes, but not in the temple. In the temple, ceremonies are only for those who are Vaishnava-initiated devotees. Those who are not initiated devotees. The temple is not a showroom. It is not a ballroom. It is not a theatrical room for somebody's whimsical ideas. Now, in separate circumstances, if there's separate hall, arrangements can be made, but the prasadam cannot be cooked by non-devotees. And this is the problem. Everything has become so compromised that many non-Vaishnavas, not improperly initiated Vaishnavas, are cooking, and God knows how it's offered. So this is a big problem. It's the same situation that we have with many of the kirtans that are being introduced with all kinds of concocted, non-authorized bhajans. Now, those of you who may have been there during Prabhupada's manifested presence, you know, there is songs like Govinda Jaya Jaya, Namaste Narasimhaya, Jai Jagannath, and other songs that were introduced by Śrīla Prabhupada himself. These are bona fide, but many of these so-called bhajans or Sahaja bhajans that were not introduced by Prabhupada, and who knows where they're from, where is this coming from? Why are the leaders of that society allowing the desecration of Śrīla Prabhupada's temples? The insult and offenses against the deities by all these concocted so-called bhajans. Now, we've often told this story as part of these programs, and we've experienced this. Both Vishwakarma Prabhu and myself have experienced during the manifested presence of Śrīla Prabhupada. Sometimes devotees would get carried away. They would go on chanting Haribol for 10, 12 minutes, and Prabhupada several times would send his secretary to stop the kirtan, telling them just chant Sri Krishna Chaitanya and the Maha Mantra. Now, this is a problem, because what has happened when it comes to making money, all standards go out the window. All standards go out, whether it's changing the books, changing the kirtan, changing the deity worship, changing the method of worship in the temple. So many things go out the window. But those who are sincere and serious, now this is a very important, those who are serious about spiritual advancement, you should avoid being victimized by the propaganda of the Sahaja deviants, misleaders of that society. Prabhupada set the standard. It is up to us as his followers, as his students, and as his disciples or prospective disciples, in my case, I will say aspiring disciple, to really follow him the way that he wants to be followed. Prabhupada gave an example one time of a man who says to the wife, "Oh, I really love you." And Prabhupada says he doesn't buy her any food, doesn't buy her any ornaments, doesn't buy her any clothes, but he says, "I really love you." Prabhupada said, this is nonsense. How does Krishna want our love? He doesn't care for how much food we present to him. He owns everything. He doesn't care for elaborate big deity worship. He is self-sufficient. What he wants is our devotion, our sincere attempt to pleasing with devotion. Well, how is that? Because by sincere devotion and surrender, we will get the mercy of Krishna. Krishna explains in the Bhagavad Gita, Yeyatamam prapadyante tam stateva bhajamyaham. As they surrender unto me, I reward them accordingly, according to the degree of surrender, according to the degree of service, according to the degree and depth of sincerity, according to the degree and depth of purity, we will get the reciprocation and realization from Krishna. How does that work? By submissively hearing from the pure devotee. Ado shraddha tata sadhu sango. This is the process. This is the real meaning of love for Krishna and love to the spiritual master. Krishna explains in the Bhagavad Gita, Patram pushpam phalam toyam yo me bhaktya prayachati. By sincere devotion. One time in Calcutta, there was an incident. Devotees used to go in the morning to the market to buy some fruits. Because in India, you don't have, at least in those days, you didn't have these modern day supermarkets like you have in Europe and America. You go to a market and they have some basket, some wicker basket, and bananas, apples, oranges, every kind of fruit you can imagine, especially in Bengal. It's a very opulent tropical area. So you get a lot of beautiful fruits. So devotees would get different kinds of bananas to offer the deities. But sometimes devotees would forget. They didn't get the proper kind of fruit, or the fruit wasn't properly ripe. So Prabhupada heard one time a devotee came to Śrīla Prabhupada and asked him, Oh, Prabhupada, in Bihar, there is a life member. He wants to donate some land, such and such place. And Prabhupada, being born in India, knew what that place was. And Prabhupada says, you cannot even manage to offer the bananas to the deities, and you want to go to some desert place in Bihar? This is how crazy you are. First, learn to offer Krishna his bananas in the morning. Then talk about going to open some place in the desert. This is the point. All these big fancy kirtan with people with mustaches and beards and all kinds of facial hair, this is not what Prabhupada taught. Plenty of Sahaja kirtan. Why aren't you doing kirtan in front of the deities or some kind of a show hall or a concert hall? The purpose of kirtan is not a musical performance. It is meant for the satisfaction and the pleasure of the deity. It is not for show bottle or posturing. During Prabhupada's time in Mayapur, we did kirtan in front of Radha Madhava. Vishwakarma knows this. But now it has become a show. Not only that, Prabhupada gave instruction, no harmonium during kirtan. Now everybody is trying to show how there is some concert harmonium player. Prabhupada said kirtan and mridanga during the mridanga and kartal during the kirtan. Just want a little reminder here, digress a little bit. Prabhupada's Vyasa Puja is coming up very soon. The Lord Balaram's appearance day is coming up soon. And the Lord appearance of Lord Krishna on the 16th of August, Mayapur calendar, 17th of August, Śrīla Prabhupada's Vyasa Puja. If you have not sent in your offering, please send it either to Vishwakarma or myself or Rupa Gosvāmī, and we'll make sure that it gets published into our electronic offering to His Divine Grace. Thank you for your patience. Hare Krishna, back to you in the studio. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you very much for your pastimes with Śrīla Prabhupada, which are many. And this is a great treasure for all of us, to be able to associate with a disciple, a bona fide disciple of Śrīla Prabhupada, that had many hours of personal association with him. It's interesting to note that a lot of these so-called new gurus, bogus gurus, many of them had no personal association with Prabhupada. And therefore, they don't have the experience, direct experience of Vapu, or the personal training from him that was allowed to be given to a few of us. So we're very blessed, and especially with the astute memory of our godbrother, Yaśodā-nandana. He's an ocean of information on Śrīla Prabhupada's pastimes, especially in India, which many of us didn't have that opportunity. And somehow or other, by destiny's child, Yaśodā-nandana appeared and was working in India and got the chance for that association. And he's generously sharing it, both genuine and genuous, sharing it with us in these transcendental classes that we're conducting online, which will go down in history, absolutely, as the path back to Godhead by following the proper understanding of the philosophy as given by Śrīla Prabhupada. Prabhupada said, I was listening to this lecture yesterday, Yaśodā-nandana Prabhu, and Prabhupada was talking about change. He said, what is the value of a third-class man that changes the Bhagavad Gita? There's no value. So we have a situation where Jayadvaita changed the Bhagavad Gita. Thousands of changes. What is the value? There is no value in a third-class man that's what he is, changing the Acharya's words, the Guru, because everything that the Acharya speaks is Shastra. And people that change it due to personal ambition, they're the greatest offenders. They disobey. Prabhupada's saying it categorically over and over again to us. Don't change anything. Just leave it. And Yaśodā will, in the future classes, he'll be able to explain that further, the instructions that Prabhupada personally gave to him, where he slammed down his holder and yelled at Yaśodā, go and tell them, don't change anything. So these are things that go on. And I wanted to refer today, because we're reading the Krishna book in the classes right now, sections of it, the jewels, the polished jewels of truth. But it's interesting to note that Prabhupada says here, there's a class of intelligent devotees in this purport, in text 12, of the Bhagavad Purana, who desire to relish at once the activities of the Lord narrated in the 10th canto without any understanding of the primary cantos. So we were taught in the early years that you study the first canto first, and it is considered to be the lotus feet of the Lord. And then you gradually read through the cantos and you rise up to the face of Krishna in the 10th canto. But don't jump ahead. And it's interesting to note as well, Prabhus, that the Delhi Bhagavatams, these wonderful books that we are now selling for everyone's benefit, these Delhi Bhagavatams, amazing how we got blessed with this opportunity, and I want all of you to take advantage of this. Don't just listen, take action, get in touch with us so that our small SWAT team of devotees can start to really get the mercy of this opportunity of bhakti yoga to promote the Bhagavatams, the Delhi Bhagavatams. And it's interesting to note that Prabhupada had told us, he said that everything that you need to know really is contained in these first 3 volumes. Did you know that? Everything. For example, like Prabhupada was also concerned about his eventual leaving us, even in the before he formed ISKCON. Yes, even before ISKCON was formed as a society, he wrote in the introduction of the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, in these Delhi Bhagavatams, a very detailed history of Lord Chaitanya. Why? Why did he do that, Mother Ruchisha? Because he could see, well, no one is sure of time living. And at any moment, any of us could be called to leave, any moment. So Prabhupada, in his pragmatic, brilliant way, put the summary of the life of Lord Chaitanya at the beginning of this Delhi Bhagavatams. Now, I used to ask the question of myself years ago, why did Prabhupada put this pastime of Lord Chaitanya, which has nothing to do with the Bhagavatam? Think about it. You're doing an introduction to the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, and you write a story about the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya at the beginning. But if you connect the dots, you realize that both pastimes, the pastimes of Krishna and the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya, are on the absolute transcendental platform, and that Lord Chaitanya is the Yuga avatar for us. Now, getting back to the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam here. they are under the false impression that other cantos are not concerned with Krishna, and thus more foolishly than intelligently take to the readings of the 10th canto. These people, these Hindus, they want to imitate Krishna, not serve Krishna. And they think they're Romeos. They're actually gigolos. Yes. And they try to imitate. Oh, I'm a great lover. I've got all kinds of girlfriends. This mundane look at spiritual life is condemned by the sincere Vaishnavas in the disciplic succession from Śrīla Prabhupāda. Condemned. Don't do it. And we had a situation, Yaśodā-nandana Prabhu, where there was a club that was termed in the ISKCON group in the early days called the Gopi Bhava clique. Oh yes. Where they started to think they would wear saris. I've seen pictures. These people, these men wearing saris pretending they're gopis. What insanity. So, very dangerous. Remember, Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, the pastimes of Krishna in the 10th canto are to demonstrate how God is a person. That there are personal relationships that he enjoys with his devotees. And it gives us an insight into how in the future we can hope to have a personal relationship with Krishna. Either in neutrality, servitorship, friendship, parental humor, or conjugal love. 5 primary relationships with Krishna. But we shouldn't jump ahead and start to think, oh, I'm going to be like Krishna, I'm going to have lots of girlfriends. This is totally off center to the reality of this presentation of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. And therefore, the 10th canto should be very cautiously read. Yes. In fact, I find it somewhat, I'm speaking for myself, I find it sometimes a little bit difficult for me to read some of the sections because they're so elaborate. Prabhupada is giving detailed explanations of the pastimes of Krishna on this 10th canto. So it's always remember, servant of the servant. We are insignificant. We are fallen souls, but we're getting a chance. And then again, Veronica, we always talk about the Gaudiya Mats telling the people that follow them, oh, Prabhupada didn't give the highest knowledge. Well, that's because you have never read Prabhupada's books. You have no idea of what you're saying. That's the case with many people. They don't understand Guru Tattva. They don't understand Vani incarnation. They don't read the books, and yet they preach. This is called, what is it called? Sahajiism. These terms, they're very explanatory. Sahaja, imposter. Hindu, a follower at the Indus River. There's no mention of Hindu in our books, really. The Hinduization of the philosophy. These things. And then the introduction of Ritvikism and Ritvik, blasphemy. Yet people are indoctrinated. They are by this bogus preaching. And just think about it. What a glorious movement destroyed by our own people. Prabhupada said, the ISKCON movement will be destroyed from within, just like the tree is chopped down by its own wood. Right? You make the axe with the wood from the tree, and it goes and chops other trees. And that's how this movement has been destroyed. It's been destroyed by his own disciples, who have gone to the Gaudiya Math, who have become gurus themselves, who have formed a movement of Sahajiyas. Think about it. Here's another point Yaśodā-nandana Prabhu. The Toronto Temple, we had 500 people a week come to the classes on Sundays, packed. And I believe there's still a group going to it. But what they would do is you get up in front of the deities, the deity house would be open, and this idea of glorification of someone else would take place. So for example, Mr. Patel, for example, would donate $1,000 for the payment of the feast. So they go, the person gets up on the microphone and he goes, now the deities are open, everybody's there, but their people's backs are to the deities because they're looking at the crowd, okay. And then they go like this, oh, well, Mr. Patel gave $1,000 and everybody would cheer. And then it started, Yaśodā-nandana Prabhu, you know this, they started to applaud them in front of the deities. Now that's against the rules of worship of the deity, not to glorify anybody in front of the deity. And this goes on every day, everywhere in the world now. And this is the Sahajiya movement of the Hinduization of our Krishna conscious preaching work. Yes. Hinduization. We are not Hindus, not even close. I never referred to myself forever as a Hindu, but they say, oh, it's a Hindu movement. And it's popular. This is a movement of the Sanatana Dharma, the eternal religion. That's what it is. It's a movement of Lord Chaitanya's Sankirtan mission, which is based on the chanting of the holy name, the study of the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, and the surrender of the disciples of Śrīla Prabhupāda to distributing this knowledge, learning it, and distributing it to others, and practicing the principles of Krishna consciousness with great enthusiasm. It's a great opportunity. And we're going to have another opportunity right now of hearing from Śrīla Prabhupāda. And is this the section, Rupa Goswami, or what's next on the program? Like if we get carried away here with our wonderful program. Like I said, we're restructuring the opening and closings as well, and we're working with our team of media people. We have 8 people in our media team, very qualified people, by the way, that are in this group. And it's a committee. Vijaya Pandit came up with the idea of a media team and a committee. And this committee, we work together to produce better programming, more focused on Śrīla Prabhupāda. And in this way, try to educate our membership on the proper understanding of how to take up this process, even though we're separated by different countries and locations. And we expect you to be focused on this process, no one else. No, because there's a lot that can be spoken. We're not going to speak it. We're not, because we're not here to provoke or agitate, but we're stressing that you take seriously this process with us as supportive members, not casual. I come when I feel like it. Yeah. Rupa Goswami, are you there?
Hare Krishna.
Yeah. What's the next thing? Oh, missing pieces in the puzzle. Yaśodā-nanda, go ahead, sorry. Please, I forgot. Thank you.
Okay, we are continuing our reading of the missing pieces in the puzzle, which deals with numerous questions and historical issues regarding what took place in 1977 and in 1978. We're on page number 12, point number 25. Why were selected statements taken out of context advertised as the final order of Śrīla Prabhupada regarding initiations in GBC publications and BTG magazine? Number 26, why was Śrīla Prabhupada's will hidden from the devotees and suppressed for so long? Number 27, why did a devotee in Berkeley, California have to obtain Śrīla Prabhupada's will in 1985 from the safe of the Guru? Why was it not available for so long? 28, who had kept it hidden? 29, why did one of the original 11 gurus say to a devotee in 1985 that the original 11 had been appointed in Śrīla Prabhupada's will? Point number 30, are there different versions of the will? 31, why was the letter from Śrīla Prabhupada to Rupanuga Maharaj dated April 24th, 1974, regarding Śrīla Prabhupada's clear warnings about the Gaudiya not brought out and discussed before all the devotees in March of 1978? Why was it hidden? Question number 32, why was Śrīla Prabhupada's warning given in Bombay, India on April 22nd, 1977 to one of his GBC men, warning him about the breakup of the Gaudiya institution and the unfortunate role of some of his godbrothers not brought out and discussed before all the devotees in March of 1978? Why was it hidden for so many years? Many senior devotees have recently suggested that there should be a comprehensive, thorough, and full-fledged public inquiry into Śrīla Prabhupada's order with regards to the whole initiation issue and unresolved so-called guru appointment issue. We sincerely hope that the leaders of this movement will take this seriously and arrange for this and many other pertinent questions to be dealt with in accordance with Śrīla Prabhupada's final order. Let us take shelter of this Sampradaya-Acārya, His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupāda, completed on Friday, August 9, 1996, on the auspicious day of Kamika Ekadasi. Thank you very much for your patience with this. Eventually, this will also be published by the Prabhupada Disciples Association, along with Delhi Lamrita Review, some of our upcoming future projects. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Big questions, why, but no answers from our godbrothers. And when you ask them these questions, they banish you. Don't bring that up. No, you're a Ritvik. Don't do that. What's the term? It's like a disease. Oh, he's got leprosy. He's a Ritvik. That's not very big. It's not a very big deal, because the fact of the matter is there's hardly anybody really left in the North American temples. They're almost all gone. It's Hinduized. Any of the big temples. The Prabhupada disciples are all, and because they're not making any new Prabhupada disciples with the Ritvik system of initiation, then gradually everything will disappear. Like, who cares? Now that, say for one of our godbrothers passes away, many of them have, do we really think about them anymore? No. In Canada, there was a GBC man. He was here, but he's gone. He's not around anymore. And does anybody talk about him? Or they talk about his pastimes or think about what he did besides all the bad things he did? No, they don't really think about it. So this is going on. We're going to move forward with our next section, which is the next section of, is it the Prabhupada lecture? Yeah, I believe so. Let's go with that. Rupa Goswami.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Juta Padakamalam Svakosayamasa Pitrenathina Javata Grammai Manaramai Kami Prasideta Dathagat. So, after seeing the omen, he was meditating always 24 hours about the subject, lusty desire. Kamastasya hitagyana. When one becomes lusty, then one becomes lost of all intelligence. The whole world is going on the basis of this lusty desires. This is material world. And because I am lusty, you are lusty, every one of us, so as soon as my desires are not fulfilled, your desires are not fulfilled, then I become your enemy, you become my enemy. I cannot see you are making very good progress, you cannot see me making very good progress. This is material. Envy, lusty desires, Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moh, Matsarya. This is the basis of this material world. So he became, the training was that you are training to become a Brahmana, Samadama. But the progress became checked on account of being attached to a woman. Therefore, according to Vedic civilization, the woman is accepted as hindrance to spiritual advancement. The whole basic civilization is how to avoid the woman. You do not think that only woman is woman, the man is also woman. Don't think that the woman is condemned, the man is not. Woman means enjoyer and man means enjoyer. So this feeling, this feeling is condemned. If I see one woman for enjoyment, so I am man, and if woman also sees another man for enjoyment, she is also man. When woman means enjoyer and man means enjoyer. So anyone who has got feeling of enjoyment, he is considered to be man. So here both sexes men for. Everyone is planning how I shall enjoy. Therefore he is Purusha. Artificial. Otherwise, originally we are all Prakriti, Jiva, either woman or man. This is outward dress.
Very interesting. Actually, Yaśodā, it's very interesting. These days on social media, they talk extensively about the problems of relationships between men and women. How the modern day woman, many of them, they hate men. Yes. And also that the men, they hate the women. It's both sides of the coin, but it's a deterioration of morality that's happened. The whole society is degraded, very degraded. I was just at an event last night, a music event in my area. I live in a place where there's a very beautiful park, and I went there because they have an event once a year, so I thought I'll walk over and check it out. But I was looking at the people. The young people are just absolutely out of it. It's shocking. It was shocking. The way they dress. They're 14, 15, 16, 17 years of age. This new crop, this new generation of people have no morality whatsoever. And this is because they're not trained on any platform of spiritual understanding. None. It's complete Maya. And they look at their phones so much, they don't even look at the people they're with. And then when they talk, they swear. They basically have no clothes on. A lot of these young girls, it's shocking. So this is the Kali Yuga, everyone, and it's a very difficult time for us all. Now, questions. In the class, we had a question period that we're using as a vehicle for participation. Right now, the class is changing. The discussions are changing. We're focusing on philosophy and training of people, not with questions and answers like was before. But we're not saying don't have questions. Absolutely. And what I want you to do, if you have any questions, you can call us up and talk to us personally. Like I have a question here from Bhakta Vaibhav. So on my chat thing, I asked, well, what's your question? Because he had his hand up. He goes, I wanted to have some knowledge about distribution of books. Any of your experience you can share, please, Prabhu, how Śrīla Prabhupada advises on this. Okay, that's a good question. It's a fair question. But you could call up Vijaya Pandit. He's active in distributing books. And you could call me. I've done book distribution. And I could talk to you. If you have any other questions you want to have with and answers you're looking for, you can call us. You can also send emails. Yaśodā-nandana Prabhu, he's prolific with his email account. As you all know, he's got hundreds of emails he sends out to everybody every month. So he's more than eager to give answers to you. But we're taking the time here to really focus on this PhD program of education of Krishna consciousness. It's a PhD program of hearing the philosophy as it's been preached by Śrīla Prabhupada and his disciples. In this way, you become educated in Krishna consciousness. So any questions, please, I'll put my phone number up again. I posted it, and or you can, get a hold of us and we'll share contact information with other people. Vijaya Pandit, you can put your phone number up. He's a good source for information. I know our friend Bhaktivedanta from he calls everybody up. He calls everybody up. Yeah, he likes to get association. So we're using this tool to educate us all on Krishna consciousness. We're going to move to the next section, which is is it the Kirtan Prabhu? Rupa Goswami?
Yes,
Is it the
next,
Kirtan?
Kirtan by
Or-
Śrīla Prabhupāda.
What's that?
Kirtan by Śrīla Prabhupāda. Hare Krishna.
Oh, Kirtan, speak up, don't be shy. Don't be shy, chant along, Hari Hari Bol. Yeah, we're going to have the Kirtan by Śrīla Prabhupāda, and then the 10 offenses, and then the Japa program. Okay? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Nectar of Devotion, Chapter 8, Offenses to be Avoided. The offenses against the chanting of the holy name are as follows. First, to blaspheme the devotees who have dedicated their lives for propagating the holy name of the Lord. Second, to consider the names of demigods like Lord Shiva or Lord Brahma to be equal to or independent of the name of Lord Vishnu. Sometimes the atheistic class of men take it that any demigod is as good as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu. But one who is a devotee knows that no demigod, however great he may be, is independently as good as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, if someone thinks that he can chant Kali, Kali or Durga, Durga, and it is the same as Hare Krishna, that is the greatest offense. Third, to disobey the orders of the spiritual master. Fourth, to blaspheme the Vedic literature or literature in pursuance of the Vedic version. Fifth, to consider the glories of chanting Hare Krishna to be imagination. Sixth, to give some interpretation on the holy name of the Lord. Seventh, to commit sinful activities on the strength of the holy name of the Lord. Because by chanting the holy name of the Lord, one can be freed from all kinds of sinful reactions. It should not be taken that one may continue to act sinfully and after that chant Hare Krishna to neutralize his sins. Such a dangerous mentality is very offensive and should be avoided. 8. To consider the chanting of Hare Krishna as one of the auspicious ritualistic activities which are offered in the Vedas as fruitive activities. Karma Kanda. 9th, to instruct a faithless person about the glories of the holy name. Anyone can take part in chanting the holy name of the Lord, but in the beginning one should not be instructed about the transcendental potency of the Lord. Those who are too sinful cannot appreciate the transcendental glories of the Lord, and therefore it is better not to instruct them in this matter. 10th, to not have complete faith in the chanting of the holy names, and to maintain material attachments, even after understanding so many instructions on this matter. Every devotee who claims to be a Vaishnava must guard against these offenses in order to quickly achieve the desired success.
Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktivedanta.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare.
Krishna,
Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare.
Let us offer our respectful obeisances to all the assembled Vaishnava devotees. Vanchakalpa tarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. I offer my respectful obeisances. We all offer our respectful obeisances unto all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord, who can fulfill the desires of everyone, just like desire trees, and we're full of compassion for the fallen souls. Thanks everybody for participating in this lively program and discussion. Our thanks to Vishwakarma Prabhu in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, Rochi Samatavu dans la belle province de Québec, Pierre Angelo in Switzerland, Vijay Pandit Prabhu in Italy, grazie. Rupa Goswami Prabhu in Mumbai, India, Anshuman Prabhu in India, Radharani with a beautiful pom-pom, Michael Dillon in Yuba City, California, Bhakta Roy in Mississippi, Vinay Prabhu in South India, and Bhakta Karan in, I believe, Trinidad or wherever you are, Krishna Kata in San Diego, Shriya Mataji, wherever you are, and wherever you are, Ram Raghava Prabhu in Georgia, and everybody participating. Please join us again on Wednesday afternoon or night, where you are, at 5 o'clock p.m., corresponding to 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, That's the East Coast time. And join us for another enlivening discussion and reading of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. And do not forget, if you have not sent in your offering to Śrīla Prabhupada for his Vyasa Puja, please do so. And please try to help us with the distribution of the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. Śrīla Prabhupada will be very pleased with that. Very pleased with that. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Play that bass, chant your peace. Don't be shy, chant along, chant along.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Juta Padakamalam. Everyone is puffed up that I know. I know everything. So there is no need of going to a guru. This is the method to approach a guru, spiritual master. Surrender. That I know so many rubbish things which are useless. Now kindly teach me. This is called submission. Just like Arjuna said, Shishyasteham sadimam prapanyam. When there was argument between Arjuna and Krishna, and when the matter was not solved, then Arjuna submitted to Krishna. My dear Krishna, now we are talking as friends, no more friendly talking. I accept you as my spiritual master. Kindly teach me what is my duty. That is Bhagavad Gita. So, one has to learn. Tad vijnanatham se gurumeva avigatche. This is the Vedic Indian. Yeah, what is the value of life? how it is changing, how we are transmigrating from one body to another, what I am this body, or beyond something. These things are to be inquired. That is human life. Athāta brahma jignāsa. This inquiry is to be moved. So it is Kali Yuga, without any knowledge, without any inquiry, without any guru, without any book, everyone is God. This is going on. Fool's paradise. So this is not hell. Yet, about the Vidur, he also, Viduropi parityajya prabhasi dhiyamatmana Kṛṣṇāveshena tacchitya pitrihi saksayam jayo. I was talking about Vidur. Vidur was Jamaraj. So, a saintly person was brought before Jamaraj for punishment. So when the saintly person inquired from the Jamaraj that I don't remember that I have committed in my life any sin, why I have been brought here for judgment? So Jamaraj said that you do not remember in your childhood you pricked one ant with a needle through the rectum and she died, therefore you have to be punished. Let's see. In childhood, in ignorance, because he committed some sin, he has to be punished. And we are willingly against the principle of religion that thou shalt not kill. We have opened so many thousands of slaughterhouses, giving a nonsense theory that the animal has no soul. Just see the fun. And this is going on. And we want to be in peace.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,